Hey, what's happening everyone? It's GBall and I have an exciting knife here to unbox for you coming in from Kizer. This is a brand spanking new release for them in their Vanguard line. The Vanguard line takes care of most knives coming in under $100. They're more affordable stuff, if you will. Now, if you've never stopped by before, welcome to GBall Vision. Feel free to drop a comment below. Let me know what your EDC is looking like today. The knife we have is called the Khasmin, and this could be a little controversial. We'll dive into it here more as the video goes on, and you can let me know down in the comments. But to kick this off, we have a swirl pattern engraved in the aluminum handles. One thing I wanted to know is there recessed steel liners on this guy? And yes, there is. They are heavily milled out, skeletonized for weight relief, but it does have steel liners that are recessed. So that gives it a little bit more premium feel and aesthetic. This particular one has their machined satin in Nitro V. They also did black and bronze PVD coated versions in Kizer fashion. There's going to be several different variants. Dual thumb studs for the deployment and the Kizer clutch lock for our locking mechanism. Nice strong springs, a deep carry clip that is surface mounted, their standard deep carry clip, and it is going to be left hand friendly. This is one of the rare few cases I don't mind it being surface mounted, just because you have this real nice finished scale. And even with, the only way it would work to recess it here is if you had a matching filler tab to the scales, but because these are all heavily milled out and have a pattern running through them, it might be kind of hard to pull that off and make it look good. It's one of the rare exceptions where I'll say I don't mind it being surface mounted. And that's usually one thing I will rag on Kizer about, is not recessing their clips very often, which is something I typically prefer. Let's go ahead and get a look at the size of this guy. It's not a big knife, but not a small knife either. We're going to be looking at 7 1/4 overall to that very tail end. 2 7/8 of cutting edge and 3 1/4 of total blade. A couple of size comparisons. We have the Spyderco Para 3 up top and the PM2 on the bottom. Much more in line with something like the Para 3. And two more, the Miguron Vein 2 up top and the Concept Fenrir on the bottom. We'll grab the 50 ways baked in GBall Vision Hank here, get a look at this pocket clip, see what the knife looks like while it's sitting down per se, and it'll carry pretty deep. You won't see much of that knife poking out at all. Looks clean. Otherwise, I could do without the Kizer symbol there on the pocket clip. I am one of the ones who say just move it to the pivot, do a smooth non-tooled show side pivot with the logo, and that will erase that, and you don't have to put Kizer on the front no longer. I just think it would keep the knife even cleaner. You'd basically be moving the branding from 2 different things down to 1 and making it look even nicer. That's just my opinion, of course. We are talking about a more affordable knife, but I think it would be best to practice that type of stuff, you know, non-tooled pivots, keeping the knife clean on the more budget-ended knives in a company's collection. That way it translates into the premium stuff as well, and it makes a more clean collection of knives. That's just what I think anyway. I could be completely wrong. You let me know down in the comments. We'll get the arch nemesis out here and give this bad boy a weight check. Now, I like to play a little game on the channel with the new knives that come in. I always invite you to play along. You put your guess down in the comments, ounces or grams, whichever you prefer. Even if you already have a comment down there, go ahead and put your guess. And if you're enjoying this video, you like knives and gear, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. That way you can be notified anytime I release a new video. I'm going to give this a go here. We have to remember aluminum over top of steel, but it is heavily milled out. I'm going to say that this one is not overly heavy. I'm going to bet it is down there at like a 3.2. Could be even lighter. I don't know. Let's go 3.1. 3.1. Lock it in. Oh! Oh, I almost said 3.2 too. I'll take that though. The arch nemesis always screws me. That's why it's the arch nemesis. If you're new or fairly new, even if I get close, it always goes up 0.1 or it'll go back down 0.1. Or it went with what I originally thought. There's no winning, rarely. 90 grams and 3.2 ounces. Now you know why it's called the arch nemesis. And for the people who've been around for a long time, they have seen many bloodbaths. I'll try to make this as painless as possible. We'll get the calipers out here, get a couple of measurements on the handle and blade, 0.46 and 11.7 millimeters. That's the handle thickness. We'll go to the blade stock thickness, 2.7 millimeters and 107 thousandths. So pretty thin on the blade stock. We'll go to a behind the edge measurement, try to get a good positive hold. And I might be a little low. It's coming in at 19 thousandths, probably about 20 thousandths directly behind the edge, which is not bad at all. That's actually starting to get down there pretty thin. Let's see how this cuts out of the box. For that, we'll use our standard catalog paper here. Nitro V is a good steel. I'm waiting for more companies to start doing Nitro X7. That is a brother to Nitro V, but a little bit better performance. We have seen Real Steel use it here once or twice, but Nitro V is a good steel, especially for knives under $100 and really good on knives with aluminum handles and an engraving. Some people will say aluminum's not that expensive. Well, yeah, you might say that, but when we're talking about a thick slab of aluminum being machined out, having grooves and patterns milled into it, it becomes more expensive. And this is a finely finished piece of aluminum. Really good edge on this fella out of the box. Let's grab our driver, see what we're looking at here for the hardware situation. And it's a clean looking knife, no body screws. You just have the pivot and then the 2 screws for the pocket clip, and it's going to be all T8. Excellent stuff. That is exactly what we want right there. And this is very, very simple. You'll be able to also adjust that crossbar lock if you want it a little stronger. If you want it a little lighter, you'll be able to accomplish that because it is adjustable. I know I prefer them to be on the strongest setting because that gives you a really good resistance on the deployment. And as these companies have finely tuned these crossbar locks, they just continue to get better and better on that deployment. Nice and strong. Doesn't quite feel like a detent, and I don't think they ever will. But man, have they gotten really damn close. Crossbar locks are notorious at this point. Very versatile for lefties and righties. They are safe because you don't have to put your fingers in the path of the closing blade, which is really nice. Just a good mechanism all around. And when we're talking about locks, not fidget factor or anything of that matter, but locking systems, crossbar locks are very dependable. They're durable. It's hard to beat. Even in a $25 knife up to several $100s, it does not matter. Crossbar locks are, when they're done well, very reliable. And you might ask me how I know that. Well, I have tested at this point hundreds of crossbar locks, and they're one of the locks that, like I said, when done properly, they're just going to do well. Is it the strongest lock in the world? No, it is not, but it's a good lock. We're going to start off with a couple of light taps to get us going here. I don't feel any movement up or down, side to side, which it's not abnormal to have a tiny bit of movement one way or the other, just the nature of the lock. But that tells me this has really good fit. Let's go ahead and we'll give this a light tap to get us going. We'll restart here. Light tap to get us going here. And you might ask why the light tap. Well, It's a good way to get things started. We have had knives, many knives, fail in the past due to a very, very light tap. And you might ask, is that okay? Is that normal? No, that's not okay. And no, that's not normal. Close it and we'll go to the middle here. Give it a really good shot there. Sounds good. I don't think we're going to have any issues. Another good shot there. And double tap there. Very good. Very good. No question about it. I know they've had a little bit of issues with their top liner lock mechanism, and it wasn't all of them. It wasn't all of the designs. It wasn't all of the time, but it was sporadic throughout various button top liner locks, and they have fixed that issue. I've had several since then, and that's what you want from the company. No company is going to be perfect when it comes to, monthly production knives or just production knives in general. And I don't care if we're talking small batch or huge batches, there's going to be issues somewhere at some point along the way. And I always say it's how the company responds to that and what do they have to say for themselves. Kizer is the type of company who owns up to it and fixes the problem, while on top of that, taking care of the customers with an exchange, a return. They will take care of you and take care of the issue, which is why they have been so successful here over the last couple of years. A company that I would say is really intertwined with the knife world. When I said at the beginning of the video that this could be a controversial knife, and I said that for the reason that this is going to come in just under $80. And I want your opinions on this because I wasn't sure for myself. Now, after getting it in hand, it feels really good. It looks really good. At $80 for the Nitro V and aluminum, it's when you say Nitro V and aluminum compared to what you're looking at, it's a little bit different if you can get what I'm saying. And then it's quite a bit different when you can see it and feel it in your hand. Now, with all that being said, I still think the price is a touch high. I'd say 80. No, I think 70 is probably a good spot for this to sit at, as a new release. I think 80 is the engraving, it's a nice touch. It really is. And maybe that's where that extra price is coming in at. But even with that, and it's really nice. It's well done. No issues whatsoever. Nice and sharp out of the box. Good locking mechanism. Reversible deep carry clip. Good deployment. Good looking design. I'm not sure about the 80 on this guy. I was pretty hyped on it until I saw the price because I thought it looked pretty sweet. And it is pretty sweet. Just not sure on that $80 price. I could be, and you can disagree with me and say that's, right where it should be. I might be a little, off my game. I do look forward to hearing your thoughts. I will have links to this new release and all the other new Kizer releases down in the description of this video. Do me a solid and hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to see more dope knife and EDC content, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss another GBall Vision video again. I'll pop up a couple of new videos you haven't seen yet. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.